morning. This is the day the Lord has made, so let us rejoice and be glad in it. I am Pastor Marianne Kellenbach, pastor at Living Faith Church, which is located in the community of Tradition in the city of Port St. Lucie in the state of Florida. And today is Wednesday, October the 13th in the year 2021. October is probably one of my favorite months. I absolutely love the season of autumn. I don't know what particular season you enjoy, but I just love the color and the tastes and the smells, and it's just a wonderful season. So I want to slow down the quickness that I feel this month. We're just traveling through very, very quickly. Anyway, we are focusing this week on understanding what it means when we say God is our creator. God has created everything that there is, and that God is therefore the owner of everything. And what does that make us? What does that make us? That makes us recipients of what God has created. In fact, as we will move through this week, we discover that God created us also. We didn't create ourselves, and it is God who does the creating and the working and the growing and all of that in us. So we'll save that one for Friday, just giving you a preview. But what does it actually mean when we then say that God is the owner? We have been given a very specific vocation, and that vocation is to take care of everything that God created and that God owns. God didn't give it to us and say, here, now you are the owner. No, God is still the rightful owner, and God still continues to create and to change. And we are the ones who are to care for all of this. That is exactly what our vocation is, to care for it. And so we are what we would call stewards or custodians or caretakers or caregivers in that sense of the word. And so as stewards, what does that actually mean, and how do we understand ourselves as stewards? Well, I want to share this story. Carl, when we were at St. Mark Lutheran Church in Dunedin, I was a youth minister there when we were on the other coast in Dunedin, Florida. And the custodian at that time, the sexton, the one who cared for the property, all of the church property, had left, and they had need of someone. And Carl said, you know what? I'll do it. And he did. He started to care for the property. And if you know anything about my husband, Carl, when you ask him to do something, it is above and beyond anything that you can imagine. He is meticulous and will always figure out ways to not only care for whatever it is that you've asked him to do, but also to find better ways to do something, ways that are more efficient. So he had the title of custodian, and so he would come to the church property each day. He would make sure that the floors in the worship space, the sanctuary, that those floors were waxed and polished. He would wipe down all of the chairs. He would care for the altar and make sure that there were no cobwebs anywhere. He could see cobwebs everywhere. He would make sure that the organ, all around the organ, was swept clean, the area where the bell tables were set up, the narthex area. He would make sure that the plants that were in there were watered, vacuumed, the rug. I mean, I could go on and on. The baptismal font, which was a flowing baptismal font, he would always make sure that it was clean. And then he would move from there, and he spent a lot of time in the sanctuary, and then he would move from there into the children's classrooms, especially the classrooms where I would have the children's youth, where the middle school kids met, where the high school kids met. And yeah, I could be very messy. Well, Carl would make sure that everything was picked up, put away, vacuumed. He took care of everything in those rooms. And then he would go into the offices and made sure that all of our offices were clean and that paper was stocked and anything that we needed was readily available. He took meticulous care in making sure that the restroom facilities were spotless. I mean, you could eat off the floors. He would make sure that our conference area was clean, the windows were clean. When the lawn folks would come to mow the lawn, always those sprinkler heads would be run over, and he would be replacing those. He would make sure that the parking area was clean. He had a leaf blower that he would use, and he just wanted to make sure if there was anything was broken, any of the cement fixtures, he just fixed everything. And so one day, Carl came to the pastor and said, I would like a new title. I would like for my and the kitchen was spotless. I would like for my title to be Property Steward. Because that's what I am. This is holy ground. This is all of this here, the flowers, every single thing that's here is the Lord's. And I am the caretaker of that. And he asked that his title be changed to Property Steward. He said that while he was taking care of all of this area, he recognized that it all belonged to God. And he found it to be an absolute privilege and not drudgery whatsoever to care for that space, that holy ground. On this day, remember that you are a steward of everything that is out there. As you look around, you have been called to care for everything. You are indeed a steward of all that God has made. Amen, and I'll see you here tomorrow.